Human trafficking has been around for a very long time. Many say it's the new modern form of slavery, which in my eyes it is. And in a country like Belarus, it is an easy business to get into. Belarus is a crossroads country between Eastern and Western Europe. This makes it the perfect place for trafficking. And because there is a high migrant rate, there are many new faces offering a perfect harvesting ground. Since Belarus has open borders with Russia, it allows the two countries to openly pass victims through without the usual checkpoints of going to a different country. Belarus is said to have 10,000 victims of human trafficking annually, primarily for sexual exploitation. However, that number is dramatically different than the one used to express the known cases from 2002 until 2018. This shows only 5,500 victims. A lot of this has to do with their legal system. Belarus has laws in place to stop human trafficking, except they don't use it. In the early 2000s, Belarus adopted the Palermo Protocol, which is an outline for what human trafficking is. It illustrates a basic outline of what a country is looking for and what they should create in their own governments to help stop human trafficking altogether. This protocol was adopted by many different countries in the UN to stop and punish those partaking in human trafficking. In Belarus's judicial system, there is Article 181, which is an article of the Criminal Code of Belarus which forbids trafficking in people, which was passed in 2001. However, it required a demonstration of force, fraud, or coercion to constitute a child sex trafficking offense, and therefore it did not criminalize all forms of child sex trafficking. It also was not widely used. The last conviction under Article 181 was in 2012. If the government takes measures to stop human trafficking, then they need to follow up on it as well. What good is a law if they do not enforce it? Belarus has many cases each year, such as the 22 confirmed victims during a law enforcement investigation and the 129 potential victims in 2017. There have been boys and girls as young as 10 that have been subjected to trafficking. This is why this topic is so important to me. No 10-year-old should have to go through such a traumatic experience such as this. Can you imagine being forced into prostitution or forced labor at age 10 when you are only in 5th grade? Every person in the system is denied their basic human rights. Svetlana was one of these people. She was a young Belarusian living in Minsk and looking for a job when she came upon some Turkish men who promised her a well-paying job. Once Svetlana crossed the borders, her passport and money were taken and she was locked up. Svetlana and another foreign woman were sent to the apartment of two businessmen and forced into prostitution. Svetlana had other plans. In an attempt to escape, she jumped out of a window and fell 6 stories to the street below. No woman should have to risk her life to get out of doing something she does not want to do. And the sad part is that the hospital was never called. The traffickers were, and she ended up dying. There are many different solutions to help stop traffickers before they even start. A major one is to create more jobs. Many of the people in Belarus that end up in the trafficking system are in need of a job, to which traffickers provide. However, these people do not know what they are getting themselves into when they say yes. There are many different platforms to help prevent human trafficking. One is the Human Trafficking Hotline, which is a place where people can report cases. From these cases, officials can pinpoint certain areas of high risk and do something about it. But to do that, the government needs to be more active. In 2014, no trafficking offenders were convicted. The government of Belarus needs to hold perpetrators accountable for their crimes and investigate offenders on their knowledge of other human trafficking sites. If they can get first-hand information on these said sites, then the government could potentially infiltrate the whole system. And again, going back to the Article 181, what is the point in only taking half steps to stopping something if you do not plan to enforce it?